Satoshi Saturday, episode number 69. Stay humble and stack sats. What a saying. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what we're going to talk about today. What is up, guys? It is Saturday, June 7th, 2025. Man, time is flying. We're at the Bitcoin block height of 900,000, guys. 900,222. That's a milestone, isn't it? TikTok next block. And as of this recording, the Bitcoin price is just under $106,000, which may seem high to you. But what's more important is for $1, unbelievably, $1, you can get yourself 944 Satoshis, and yes, I said it, for $1. My goodness, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Satoshi Saturday, the official Satoshi Saturday. I believe I'm the only one that does this. And it's 100 degrees out here today in Las Vegas, Nevada. Currently, my location is Fremont Street. I am on Fremont Street, the world famous Fremont Street, in between 8th Street and 9th Street. 8th Street's this way and 9th Street is this way. And I'm in a parking lot. Now, why am I telling you this? Well, this is the location, the infamous location of the video that I made last week, right after the convention, the last day of the convention, where it was me, Rajat, Sony, Jor from 88 Sats Radio, Jor for the Score, Kevin, and Daniel. Now, why am I bringing this up? Man, I'm telling you, the Lord works in mysterious ways. So the two guys on my right was Rajat and Jor, two guys I really look up to in the Bitcoin space, two of my good friends now. And the other two on the left, two good friends of mine as well, are not YouTubers. Daniel has just started a little bit. But we're all Bitcoiners, and Kevin wants to start. Now, what's funny is Kevin was on my left and Rajat was on my right, immediately to my left and right. And then Daniel was far left behind me and Jor was far right behind me. So here's what happened. We had just left the convention, and in the convention, we watched a lot of great speakers. Jack Mallers, Lynn Alden, Michael Saylor, Ross. And the seating arrangements was me, Kevin on my left, and Rajat on my right, and Jor to Rajat's right. And what's crazy is I was talking to Kevin because Kevin is a great young man. He's a young guy, and he watches my videos. So he's kind of, he's kind of looking up to me. You know what I mean? Because he watches my videos, and he's like, wow, I'm hanging out with Jerry and stuff like that. Meanwhile, I'm doing the same thing to Rajat. Wow, I watch Rajat's videos. I'm hanging out with him. And I'm giving Kevin advice for about a long time. I don't know how many minutes in between sessions about what he needs to do to start his channel and everything else. And again, I'm not an expert or nothing, but I made over 1,100 videos, almost 5 years doing this, 4 years and 3/4, something like that. And I'm talking to him for a long time. Now, I don't believe Rajat can hear me, right? All of a sudden, after I get done talking to him, a little while after that, Rajat leans to me and says, Jerry, we got to grow your channel now. Now, mind you, for context, at the time, I had just over 2,000 subscribers. Rajat had about 30,000 subscribers, 29,000 and some change. And he's telling me what I need to do to grow my channel. Now, obviously, I'm going to listen to him, right? What's crazy is he's giving me all this advice from a perspective of, I'm a YouTuber, you're a YouTuber, but there's some things that you need to learn about that you may not know, and I didn't. And I was teaching Kevin some things that he didn't know about at all because he never made a YouTube channel. And the dynamic of that was crazy. And then it all came together in this parking lot. And again, we did not set it up that way. I didn't say, hey, you stand here, you stand. I didn't do that. They didn't do that. It just came together naturally. And for Jor, who has a lot more subscribers than me too, he has over 11,000 subscribers as of this recording. He'll have a lot more. Was in the far back right, and then Daniel was in the far back left with no subscribers. Both my good friends, both very highly intelligent men, especially when it comes to life and Bitcoin. Different stages of life. they kind of mentor each other, right? Because Daniel's older than Jor, and Jor mentors him with the Bitcoin stuff. They do business together. And it was crazy, man. And then the way it came together was just, again, man, God is working, right? Stay humble and stack sats. There's levels to this, man. And when I was at the convention, you know, Rajat, people would stop him, you know, a bunch of times, wanting people to, you know, people wanting to take pictures with him and everything else. He was the nicest guy you could be. Jor as well. I had that happen to me a little bit too, and I'll get to that in a second, but not to their level, of course. And, you know, we're in the area of Bitcoiners and stuff. So these people, us Bitcoiners, not these people, us as Bitcoiners, we consume that content. You know, I seen a bunch of people that I watch in there. And just to see how humble Rajat was. I already knew Jor was humble because I know Jor pretty good, you know, for what we do, like talking and doing videos and stuff. But I didn't know Rajat that well. But Rajat surprised me, man, because Rajat is a savage, man, in his videos. So I thought he'd be a little bit more like, not as patient as he was. And he's just such a nice, kind man, man. He really is. He just is. And he had a lot of people coming up to him. So before, I think it was before I met Rajat. Yeah, before I met Rajat, I had kind of split off from the group a little bit, our Living in the Future group and everything, with Daniel and Jor and some other boys. And I had to do some things by myself for a second. And then all of a sudden, some people came up to me, you know what I mean? Some came up one-on-one, but then I had a group of 4 people walk up to me. And they were, you know, pretty excited to see me and stuff. You know, they were telling me about my Satoshi Saturdays and ending my videos and, you know, the wheel I spin. And by the way, if you guys aren't subscribed, go ahead. I do a live every day, Monday through Friday. I do a Satoshi Saturday, and I do a bunch of stuff. I give away free Satoshis Monday through Thursday and Friday. And Friday, I give out double sats for Fat Sat Friday. It's pretty fun. Yesterday was was a blast. But these 4 individuals came up to me and talking and stuff, and I had something to do at the time. So I'm not saying I rushed them, but I had to go, and I could tell, like, if I was staying there, they would stay there with me for a long time if I let them. But I was like, all right, guys, nice to meet you. I didn't say I had to go, but I was like, all right, guys, nice to meet you and stuff like that. And I'm not gonna lie, man. I am not gonna lie. You know, it's hard as a human being not to be humble when something like that happens to you, right? You know, again, I live in Las Vegas, and I see a lot of celebrities out here, man. You know what I mean? And these people are some arrogant, not the nicest people in the world, not like us, not humble like us, right? Let's just say that. But I was feeling myself a little bit right at that moment. And then I kid you not, maybe a minute or 2 later, I'm walking to where I want to walk, and all of a sudden I see this big, tall guy walking, and I'm like, man, that's a big guy. And then as I got closer to him, I realized who it was. I was like, holy sh. Now, mind you, again, I see celebrities a lot here in Vegas, but this one really got me because the ones that get me is when I'm not expecting it, and also to be in the Bitcoin conference. And it was Dr. Shawn Baker, the carnivore doctor. Big guy, strong guy, man. And he was just walking by himself, right? And I'm just like, what in the... I'm looking around like, you guys don't see Dr. Shawn Baker? So I walked up to him, and I came from behind him, and I looked at his badge, and he had a Bitcoin thing on, because I was like, is he here or something? You know, because I wasn't going to say nothing. But he had a Bitcoin conference badge around his neck. I said, Dr. Baker? And he stopped. He just completely stopped. He wasn't like slowing down and kept walking. He completely stopped. He said, hey, how are you? And he looked at my badge to see what my name was. He said, Jerry Loves Freedom, how are you? And I'm like, good. And mind you, you talking about a grip. And I said, I'm doing well. How are you? He said, good. I said, you're a Bitcoiner? He said, absolutely. He said, I wish I would have got in earlier. And now, mind you, we're in the middle of the passageway or whatever, a bunch of people. And I just said, okay. And I started talking to him. And he started moving to the side like, hey, let's come over here and let's talk over here. Guys, when I tell you this, he was the most humble guy. I don't even think I'm going to say for his status. He was just one of the humblest guys I've ever met. And I met a lot of, very nice, humble people. I consider myself a pretty humble guy. But compared to him, he's more humble than I was. Now, mind you, I'm a nobody, man. This guy doesn't know who I am. He has no idea who I am, what I do, nothing. This man talked to me for 30 minutes, right? Now, again, I don't know what he had to do and stuff like that, but he was so freaking humble. And it's not because he was in Bitcoin or nothing like that. He's just, you could just tell he's a really down-to-earth guy. And I was talking to him and having a conversation. I was asking him some questions and stuff, but I really, wanted to pick his brain a little bit. I would put something out there and he would just tell me, man. And it was almost like watching a YouTube video in person. Because I've watched a lot of Dr. Shawn Baker's content. I used to really be into carnivore. I still kind of am. I try to do 80-90% meat. That's tough though. So I'm going to go to Steak and Shake here. Steak and Shake is up the little ways at the Fremont casino and hotel and casino. So I'm going to go there. I'm going to probably go there once a week. Support them. But anyways, and I literally had to stop the conversation with Dr. Baker. Now contrast that with what just happened a minute or two ago with my quote unquote, not fans, but people that were talking to me. I was trying to get away from them. And I said, wow. And I said, all right, see you later. And because I had to do something. But of course, Dr. Baker, I'm like, I got to talk to him. Kind of forgot about it. And then it hit me. Jerry, you ain't humble. You're not humble enough. Because if Dr. Baker can talk to an absolute nobody, to him, why can't I talk to people that are actually fans of me or enjoying my content at least double or triple the time he talked to me and spent with me? And that was a revelation for me. It really was. And, I went back into the crowd, did my thing and went back. And I was just like, wow, man, incredible. My point is this, man. We got to stay humble. You know what I mean? It's very difficult to do that in the positions we are in today as Bitcoiners because we know what we know and the other people don't know. It's one thing to be confident. It's another thing to be cocky. Don't be one of those people, guys. Listen to me now. Just listen. And if this is you and I'm hitting you and you're feeling some type of way, I'm probably talking about you, but you can change, okay? Don't be one of those people that's a know-it-all, that knows everything, that always come from a perspective of, oh, whatever I do is the best, and blah, 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 and this and the third. And I know people like that, man, that if you tell them something, or if you caught a fish that was 8 inches long, they caught a fish that was 12 inches long. You know what I'm saying about those people. I'm not going to get into that. Don't be one of those people, man. God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. Listen more than you talk, okay? That's what I try to do. And again, it's nothing wrong with really, really studying hard and having confidence in your abilities and what you know, right? But it's another thing to be cocky. There's outwardly humility, and then there's inwardly cockiness, both ways, right? I'll give you an example. Michael Jordan. People would call him cocky, right? When he's on the court, he was talking a lot of crap to people. You can't guard me, him or Larry Bird or whatever. I'm the best and blah, 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 blah. And you say, oh, that guy's cocky, outwardly cocky. Because he'd say, I'm going to drop 40 on you. I'm going to shoot this shot right here and hit it in your face. And more than likely they would, right? But that's outwardly. But reverse that. Their actions are being humble. Humility of actions. Meaning, they are those people that are great. Again, I'm not saying they don't have God-given gifts. But again, talent doesn't overcome hard work. Or doesn't outdo hard work. If somebody's not as talented as another person, you got to outwork them. I'm telling you. And Michael Jordan or Larry Bird, whoever, let's stick with Michael Jordan, or even Tom Brady. Tom Brady's not the most talented man in the world. Those guys work their ass off. Now, let me ask you a question. Why, if they were cocky, quote unquote, why do they come to practice first and leave last? Why do they watch and study film and all this other stuff and asking people's questions, the coaches and everything? Mind you, Phil Jackson, for those of you that don't know, is a great coach, but he wasn't a great player when he played. Jordan and his coaching staff and Phil Jackson and all them, he was constantly talking to them, learning the fundamentals, breaking down the basics of basketball. The best basketball player that's ever touched a basketball was doing that. Is that a cocky person? No. That's a humble person. And that's how you got to be. Don't be that person that every time somebody's talking to you, you feel like you know everything and you're coming from a point that I'm always teaching you something and blah, 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 blah. Again, it turns people off, man. I'm telling you, you're not going to learn like that when you're a person that's always talking. And again, I've seen some people like that at the conference. Not that many, but I've seen them. And we're Bitcoiners, guys, so we got to stay humble and stay grounded. That's the first part. The second part is stack sats. I believe the more humbler you are, the more sats you're gonna stack. Because if you get cocky or bragging and all this other stuff, you're not gonna stack as much. You're just not. Why? Oh, because I got 2 Bitcoin, or I got, this and that or whatever, and you're thinking in Bitcoin terms and how rich you're gonna be, and I know this and I know that, and these peasants ain't gonna have as much as me or whatever. First of all, don't even think like that. Don't think about yourself. Think about others. That goes back to humility. I do these videos because it's not about me. It's about the message and changing the world. And I've had some people talk to me about, I want to do a YouTube channel, but this and that, or yeah, I'm doing a YouTube channel, but I don't want to do this, and I want to stop, and my thing ain't growing and all that. Again, when you come from a humility standpoint and realize that it's not about you, it's about the message, not only will you help more people, but the more people you help, you earn more sats. I'm telling you, value for value, guys. Don't think in terms of Bitcoin. You got to think about Satoshis. Stay humble and stack those sats. Forget about the Bitcoin. We need to make Satoshis, again, sats is short for Satoshis, a marketable thing, right? We got to talk about Satoshis. We got to make that a household name. Anybody I talk to and knows me knows I don't even talk about Bitcoin until I introduce myself, and I'm like, hey, do you like Bitcoin or whatever? And that's the only thing I'll talk about Bitcoin. The rest of the time I'm talking about Satoshis. Once I explain to them what a Satoshi is, I stick to the Satoshis and tell them how many they can get and show them the Bitcoins per person website and stuff like that, and tell them to stack as many Satoshis as you can. This is why I tell everybody, man, and again, if you haven't done this, you're doing yourself a disservice. Get to 1 million Satoshis as quickly as you can. Stack sats like a madman every single day, and a mad woman. As much as you can, as hard as you can. Another way to be humble is to sell and get rid of that stuff that makes you feel good. Those freaking designer shoes and purses and all that other stuff. I'm not saying, don't have stuff and all that. I'm just saying, when you're wearing Chanel bags and all this other crap, that's not a person that's humble, man. You know what I mean? You're just being cocky, and you're trying to say, hey, look at me, look what I got. The richest people in the world, most of them, don't do that. They don't have to show off their wealth because, again, they're humble. They dress humbly. Look at freaking Steve Jobs and Bill Gates. And again, I don't like Bill Gates and Warren Buffett and stuff like that. These people are not wearing fancy clothes, a chain around their neck, and riding with 30-inch wheels in a mansion. They're just not doing that, okay? Stack sats like a crazy person. Get to 1 million Satoshis. Help your friends and family by being humble to get them to understand what's going on and them stack sats. Because the more sats you stack, you're gonna help more people in your family that refuse to stack sats, and you can help them by stacking sats for them. And that takes humility, because again, it ain't about you. So listen, it's hot. I'm about to go to Steak and Shake, but let me leave you with this. You know where you're at on the timeline. Satoshis are the way. They are the way. Bitcoin is an arbitrary name. It's just a bunch of clumps of Satoshis put together, whether it's 100 million Satoshis, 20 million Satoshis, whatever. You can call 50 million Satoshis what? Something else besides a Bitcoin, besides a half a Bitcoin or whatever. It's just a name. It's all about the Satoshis, and you need to get out there and market and tell people. And again, that takes humility. But you can be cocky in a nice way and tell people, hey, I told you so. Not in an arrogant, in your face way, but tell people, hey, I'm a little cocky, or I'm a little arrogant because I know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? I'm here to help you, and I'm here to save you. And there's only one way to save us, guys, in the financial future, and you know that. Right now, we're skating to where the puck is going. We're living 1 foot in the broken, corrupted system, and we got another foot outside of that matrix, of that lie, because that's what it is. But you gotta, in order to get those 2 feet out, we gotta make sure we get adoption, global adoption, and it starts with you. and then your family, and then your friends, your neighborhood, your community, your city, your town, your country, so on and so forth. And since you guys know that, and you know that this is the new monetary network, these Satoshis, and everything will be priced as Satoshis, again, keep skating to where the puck is going and get your family and friends on board, because I'm telling you right now, in the future, 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now, I don't know when it's going to be, your family are going to be calling you a legend, and they're going to build statues of you. You mark my words on this. This wall right here, Jor was standing over here, and we were walking here and ending the video, and Jor came over and helped me end the video. And Jor told me after the end of the video, he said, this is going to be historic. 20 years from now, they're going to look back at this video and say, wow, these guys are together. Next year, we're going to have even more people. We're going to have 50 people behind us, because we know what this movement is. And since you know that, do you and your family a favor, ladies and gentlemen, and stack Satoshis today, guys, so that you and your family don't have to work for those exact same Satoshis tomorrow. I love each and every one of you, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace and love, guys.